Hello, everyone at the Phlogisticast. I am of the Spuff forums, even though that's redundant. My
Steam-powered
username,
user forums.
Steam-powered user forums, that works too. My username is Nethero. People know me mostly as Nethero online, and I do source filmmaker videos every once on a blue moon, which have decent reviews, I guess. I get a lot of views on two videos in particular, and that's it. And I'm also a very frequent poster on Spuff, so I'm not like one of those people who does an SFM and then just drops it on the forum to get views or anything, because, that happens every now and then.
And I'm pretty much the opposite of that. I have, to date, made no successful SFM videos. I'm working on one though. It's pretty basic. And I'm kind of out of the loop with Spuff stuff. I only post in one thread, and that's one for the daily Spuff about the blog. Which is why I'm hosting a podcast for it. This is the Phlogisticast, and I'm talking to Nethero. My name is Deki, but if you look for me on Steam now, it's Steve Thompson. Don't ask why, just go with it. If you want to look for me on Steam, I've changed my username. Anyway, today we've got some pretty exciting news to talk about. Don't we?
Yeah, because apparently we're going to be talking about the Saxxy Award winners for 2014. One that I decided not to actually join this year for various reasons. I actually just particularly I'm not a very big fan of the Saxxy Awards or how they sort of deal with the artists in the thing. I mean, I'm completely fine with the viewers and how they interpret it, even though they want to have a really good reason to vote because they don't feel inclined anymore without the Saxxy badge or anything. But for how it deals with artists, like all the limitations, I've never really liked that sort of stuff. I think it puts too much limit on the creativity. But what I will say is really awesome about it is that it's like it gives a lot of people in the SFM community a good reason to sort of put a lot of effort into what they do. So, when Gmod was the only thing that was around, it was pretty commonplace to just find videos that were all pretty garbage, like quite a lot of bad ones. There were the good ones, that were made just out of the fun of making videos, not for any kind of award or anything. So those would be very far and few between. So a lot of people had to just deal with a lot of junk. So what I do like about the Saxxy Awards is that it was I think the one thing that kept SFM from sort of fading into that territory, because it was basically pretty much doomed to unless they had some sort of thing to balance that out. But, it's a good thing because you have a whole lot more opportunity to do really good stuff like fluid animation, things like that.
Yeah, that's right. Now, let's get on to this year's Saxxies. So, the awards are split into 5 categories: Best Short, Best Drama, Best Comedy, Best Action, and Best Overall. And
the best overall can be from all 4 of those categories, too.
Yeah, that's right. It was from comedy this year, wasn't it?
Yeah. And actually, that was sort of my hypothesis on why it was that this video won. Well, before we get into that, why don't you mention which ones did win the video, just as a name?
Okay, the best short was Team Fortress 2 in 60 seconds, which does exactly what it says on the label.
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, best drama was Defect, or if you want to be typographically correct, it's Defect _.
Yeah, just like people call them star _.
Yeah, that's right. And it's about robots. Best comedy is about a scout, which, of the 5, this is the only one I haven't seen, I'm afraid to say. So I'll ask you about it in a moment. Best action was Rivalry Rush, and then, do you want to mention best overall yet?
Best overall was animation versus animator.
Yeah. Okay.
That was actually my first one that I saw for this year, too.
Did you vote for it?
Yeah, I voted for it. The thing cracked me up as soon as I saw it. The thing about it, though, is that this has been brought up quite a bit as something that won Best Overall. It was very surprising. Everyone liked it, obviously. We all sort of really wanted that to win the comedy category. But to have it basically win out over every single other video that was made for all 4 categories, it was really no one, I think, expected that one. Because, you know, in the end, it was still like a very short video. It had like a not very complicated sort of plot, especially compared to what some of the dramas we're trying to tackle this year. And, you know, it didn't exactly showcase the most ambitious project ever. I think it was just, you know, a really funny video.
Yeah.
But I did have a hypothesis on why I think it did win in the end.
Yes?
If you look sort of back to 2012 to 2013, so far the one that won Best Overall in 2012 was a drama video called About, or wasn't that it?
Story of a Century.
Story of a Century. So we have a drama video, Story of a Century. For 2013, we had an action video, which was Lil Guardian Pyro. And this one, they have a comedy for animation versus animator.
Yep.
If you think about it, it sort of makes you wonder if they're going to force themselves to choose a short category video to win Best Overall next year.
Yeah. Well, that sounds slightly like a conspiracy theory, but...
No, that's just me. I do that all the time. I have a whole thread on my prediction and when the comics are coming out based on the fact that their formula is now following either a factorial or the Fibonacci sequence, which, you know, right up the tinfoil hat alley, I guess.
Right. So, if you're using the Fibonacci sequence, are you saying the next comic will come out in 13 months?
Next comic is going to like come out in July 2015.
No.
Hey, that's not as bad as Factorial. That one means where it's not coming out until exactly next year.
Oh yeah.
And they did call it an annual comic, so basically, you sort of wonder, are they actually going to do that?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the comics with Thunder later in the show.
Okay.
He's not here at the moment because he has some family road trip thing going on.
Well, there is one thing about the Saxxies in that case. Because I was sort of saying like maybe they're going to have, you know, the short category win for the next year, you have to sort of wonder, do any of the short videos really have what it takes to win Best Overall in anyone's mind? Because you sort of wonder, you know, it feels like anyone who enters in that category are kind of doomed to just win a Saxxy and not get Best Overall. Like, they're good, but what can you do with 1 minute, right? That's sort of like what a lot of people are asking. So I have to wonder what kind of video that would be 1 minute or less possibly have a chance for winning Best Overall.
Well, an especially brilliant one. I think it's like Twitter where there's 120 or 140 characters that you can type at once.
I don't know, I don't really have a Twitter, but I do like the comparison, comparing like, you know, a Saxxy animation that basically is like posting a status that took you about a few seconds to write. It is kind of like that in a relative way, isn't it?
Yeah, because now there are books of basically Twitter literature and people are winning prizes for tweets and stuff like that, and it's just crazy. It's like how much can you possibly get out there in 140 characters or so? And I think it's a good analog for this. I think given a bit of time, someone will come up with a 60-second video that's just so brilliant that it outdoes everything else.
I think maybe the short category, though, what they were going with was more of like a good starter for people who are just now like coming out into the woodwork and want to, you know, enter in the Saxxy Awards. Because having something where, you know, it could be anything that you even desire. It doesn't have to be specifically comedy, action, or drama. So basically, one thing that short can do, it can allow people to do things like horror films. In a way, that's like something that I don't think anyone else really tries because they're really hard to actually get a good reaction from because people don't really want to see, you know, Valve assets be mixed with horror in a way.
Yeah, that's true.
But in a way, I think it's sort of treated more as a gateway where, the people who are really, really eager to win are going to try to get, their 5 minutes exactly videos up. They're going to make them, full of just every single movement is like animated by hand. They get their custom voice actors. They get all their sort of modding and hacking sort of knowledge integrated in their videos just for this 5 minutes. That'll be like for all the other categories. That'll be the specific genres. Whereas short is like, I just got this program. I want to do the Saxxy Awards, but I don't really think I can really go up to par with the others. So, I mean, you could do like that one guy did, where he made that one video one day before the deadline ended, and he actually got a nominee out of it. Yeah, that is like, I can't even title because the title is just so long.
Yeah. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just ask you about each video. And could you please give your opinion on it in, say, 2 or 3 sentences?
Yeah, sure.
Alright. So, let's start with the best comedy, about a scout. What did you think of it?
I mean, it had Muse Trigger in it, so I was already kind of liking it because we're kind of friends and stuff. Although I thought it was going to win the short category. I honestly didn't think it was even going to be in the comedy section.
Though it was too long for a short thing, wasn't
No,
it?
I thought it was like 1 minute.
I think it was like 1 minute and 3 seconds, and that was too long.
Wow, if that's really the case. Then yeah, that really comes back to why I'm not really a big fan of the Saxxy Awards. I mean, you have to think, that one guy who made a video that was like 5 minutes and 3 seconds, is the Saxxy Awards really going to like boot out of the competition? What if that was like the best thing anyone has ever seen? You don't get to compete because it's 3 seconds too long.
It'd probably ask him to split the video in two, one video that's 5 minutes and one that's 3 seconds, and enter them separately.
I mean, imagine if the Academy Awards did that. They like booted out something by Quentin Tarantino because it was just too long of a movie.
Yeah.
They don't do that because that's not fair.
Alright. What did you think of Rivalry Rush, the best action winner?
Wasn't that one by No Names Left?
I believe so. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I actually got that one in my sub box.
Oh, on YouTube you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I actually only got 2 Saxxy Award videos this year that were in my sub box, and that was one of the 2. The other was one by Kung Fu Belly Dancer. That one didn't even get nominated, though. I can see why, because it's not about TF2 or Dota 2.
But what did you actually think of the video itself? Did you think it was interesting?
Was that for action? Yeah.
Action, yeah.
I already knew that was going to win something because No Names Left is just too good of an animator. You can't like get any of that sort of stuff past him, and I don't think he tried for the Saxxies last year. But then, like, I see he's trying this year, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think anyone has a chance because it's this guy.
Wow. Okay, then how about the best short, Team Fortress 2 in 60 seconds?
Honestly, I just wanted some guy to win that one. The Team Fortress 2 in 60 seconds, I feel like I've seen that video before, like, number of times, so I didn't really think it was that unique, to be honest. But I could see why it won, because it just shoved every single joke you could think of in such a short time, so it kind of forced itself to be really well paced.
Yeah.
But we haven't done the thing for the drama yet, have we, I guess?
No, I'll just go on to that. I can't find this thing. Alright. So, defect underscore, what did you think of that? I was not really that too happy about that one winning. I mean, I liked the video. It was like, I don't see that very many of, I guess, robot videos in SFM that are done pretty well, but to win it, I had a lot of reservations for that. Even considering it's a drama video?
I could consider it a drama video more than some people. I mean, some people think it was actually supposed to be a comedy, but I kind of got that it was trying to put like something that turned from robotic to sentient, like accidentally, and then was basically looking through life through his eyes as a sort of innocent bystander that got thrown into a like very deadly battle that it didn't really have any direction with. So it was all trying to find a way out of it and to escape. But then, you know, suddenly the heavy comes, picks it up, and then it defects at the absolute last possible second, turning it into a Deus Ex Machina kind of thing. And then the mercs show up, and, you know, they had like this neutral sort of position in the video, and then they turn into the bad guys just instantly in that one scene. And then which made, you know, Sniper have to turn into the ultimate sacrifice character in the end. And I don't know, it just took some really, like, I don't know, not so good turns when it got to the end of the video. I think just because they were looking for a way to end it by that point. It was going pretty good up until then, I think.
Yeah. How do you think it compares to, say, the standard drama video from any other year?
I like that one that just got in.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, I always thought standard drama videos in TF2 were all, you know, it had to be a love interest that was in some sort of peril. Basically all drama videos had to have a damsel in distress kind of plot to it, which, you know, those are the things people were getting really sick of.
Yeah.
I mean, because that goes way back to, like, Mario 64, you know, Save the Princess. That's the kind of thing people are, like, getting really tired of, I think. So, in a way, T-Fect is at least original. It's something that, you know, for a winner is not as bad as something that could have been just, you know, Scout trying to save the Femme Scout again. But I really wanted Sky Fortress to win that one. I really wanted that to win. And I mean, it's not just because the animation was amazing and it had flying dispensers in it. Although I won't lie, that is one of the reasons why I wanted it, because, come on, it's got flying dispensers in it. But mostly because it reminded me of Miyazaki in a way. Not in the way where, like, you know, people are gonna, like, slam me on that one for saying, like, how can you compare Miyazaki to this, like, amateur film that was done by someone who's not even, you know, professional? Miyazaki's like this legend, blah, blah, blah. You know, I get he's this legend. You can't compare him to anyone in this SFM community. But for me, it was like, because FemScout was in it, but FemScout wasn't being a damsel in distress. She was like being like a actual character that you could root for. She could take care of herself. She had her own sort of trait and personality set, and she was sort of a good guy character. She wasn't, you know, your thing that was always going to get themselves in danger and needed to be saved. It was like, you know, like Miyazaki. He does like a lot of movies where the female is the protagonist, and that was sort of how it was here. And especially because of the flying, I mean, that was another Miyazaki trait, is just having a whole lot of sort of spacecraft sort of things going, well, not spacecraft, aircraft machines.
Close enough.
And he always just had a whole lot of detail to flying machines and just the sky in general, because I think he had some experience with like World War II fighter jets, something like that. I don't remember the story in particular, but it just really reminded me of that stuff, and it really brought it home with me because of nostalgia reasons. So I really wanted Sky Fortress to win for that reason.
What I'll say about Sky Fortress is, it's the first video I've seen where I think the FemScat looked good. Because in every other video she looks like she's just made of plastic, honestly.
That's sort of just people in their animation styles. I mean, you kind of have to get past the part where, you know, your character looks like a cardboard cutout that's, you know, just moving one frame at a time. So you kind of have to sell the animation to a point where people actually think they're really moving, because, you know, the way I look at it, the reason I try to put my animation into a lot of, well, the reason now that I try to make my animation look really realistic is because, you know, if you look at a character and they're moving around really unrealistically, it looks like they're sort of being forced out of their will to move in ways that are really uncomfortable, and it just makes you like feel bad for the character because they're moving around like, you know, a robot or something. Whereas if they move around for real, then you're like, oh, I could actually see them doing that now.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel like they're a puppet when they're animated pretty badly and stuff. Like, imagine if you were sort of drugged into this like ref pose that you couldn't really move from, and all your movements were dependent on someone's like strings that they had attached to you. Inside your mind, like you basically moving like you're having a good time, but in your mind you're thinking, "Oh God, kill me, please."
See, yeah. All right.
That's actually how I see it. It's kind of funny.
Interesting. Okay, I think. Do you want to talk about animation versus animated, or do you think we should just leave it for the listeners to find out about? Watch in their own time.
Well, I can say I think there was one reason why that one won out is because they just really wanted something that like was hilarious, and this one was very good at that. It actually took that sort of thing that someone was talking about, the God versus the creation sort of thing, or just the juggernaut versus or David and Goliath in a way, where, you know, there was some bigger forces at stake. So you could really have fun with the creativity on that. And it was just, there were so many funny things going on at once. The whole thing was paced like really well. And I guess because the person who brought this up, one of the other Saxxy Award entries mentioned that it was reminiscent of old Looney Tunes cartoons, and of course would be right up some of the judges' alleys, so they would have taken some sort of nostalgia with that. So I can see why it would have won, just like that guy mentioned.
Yeah. It did remind me of Looney Tunes as well. A little bit.
Yeah, Farad has always, of course, got that signature sandwich heavy sort of story going on. So
yeah.
No, that is the very first thing that every TF2 SFM you've ever seen, even though that's the very first cliche that basically you will expect in any video, is to have the heavy chasing after sandwiches. I have to like let Farhad off the hook, because that's sort of like, he's done it so many times that it's kind of his inside joke sort of thing. You know, every animator has one of those. For me, mine is the basically the sniper and medic max heads sort of high-fiving and then getting sniped, because it's a reference to that video that won Best Replay in 2012. And I have referenced that video in every single video I've made, and it's kind of funny how I could still get away with that.
Nice. Okay, I think that's almost all we've got time for, so let me just ask you this. What would you like to see in next year's Saxxy Awards?
My video. No, I'm just kidding. I'd like to see probably, like, I actually heard from a friend of mine that they wanted to enter the Saxxy, and they had this idea for a video that actually sounded really, like, very heavy, something for the drama category, and I really actually want to see that video, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm not sure, like, I don't know if I can even talk about like who it is, because I think he wants it to be secret, but I'm looking forward to something that, like, you know, just keep your eyes peeled. I think there's going to be a really good drama entry next year.
Okay.
And I guess the next topic is going to be the comics for the next guy who comes in, right?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that in a separate video. So I'll talk to him later today.
Alright, well, this has been fun. I'm actually really glad I got to come into this.
Yeah, thanks very much for coming on, Nethero.
Anytime.
We'll post a link to your YouTube channel in the description so people can check out your videos and see how the experts do it.
Yes, absolutely. I might make some short video referencing this too, maybe. I don't know if I have the capacity. I'll think about that.
Don't worry.
Alright, well, have a good rest of your day, man.
Yeah, you too. Thanks very much. See you around.
See you around.